It's Texas versus everyone else.
Absolutely.
And as long as we stick together, we've got a big enough piece of the pie to wipe the floor with everybody.
I will take 1% of 8 billion and be happy about it. And you won't hear a peep from me. Absolutely.
Because the demand is high down here in Texas. And
there's 30 million people here.
We're not keeping up. None of us are. You think I'm just going to sit here and not go down without a fight? You lost your mind. I've been looking for a fight.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Texas Growers Podcast. This is our first episode back in studios since the eventful Senate committee hearing that we all attended. Shout out to everyone who made it out and said their piece and waited 10 plus hours to get on record and fight for this industry. The things that we're doing right now, they are making history, folks. They are absolutely doing what needs to be done to keep hemp and cannabis around in Texas the way that it is and the way that it deserves. So thank you, everybody. We heard some amazing statements from myself and others that are way more advanced and powerful in this industry than I am. And I think we definitely made an impact just showing that we exist and telling our stories and making sure that we're heard because, you know, I always say if they're going to ban us, we definitely at least want to make them do it to our face, right? So thanks for everybody. Shout out to the Hometown Hero crew, Texas Hemp Business Council, and everybody else that herded cats in there to the Capitol the other day to get some testimonies. So good on everybody. I know that we fought some bureaucratic political theater tricks during the hearing, but again, thank you everybody for showing up. It was great to see the entire community of Texas at large show up for something as important as this. But hey, the fight continues. Thank you guys for keeping it up, and we have a long way to go. But we're not here to beat dead horses. We are here to talk to somebody new and learn about a true Texas entrepreneur and cannabis operator here in Texas who has a story to tell. And that's exactly what this platform is designed to do. So without further ado, I have Micah Germany here today from CannaRepublic. How you doing?
I appreciate you inviting me out, man.
Dude, absolutely. This guy just came on the scene as of a few years ago, right?
I know, we are year one.
Okay, so he's year one, already taking home the award for best pre-roll.
Yep, best non-infused pre-roll.
Best non-infused pre-roll coming out of CannaRepublic. So we're going to dive into his story, get him to tell us the background of how he got here, and hear more about CannaRepublic. So I'll give it to you.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. We were sitting there a few years ago, and we've got this property out there. We've got some real property out in the Grimes County area. And we had the neighbor come up and was like, hey, I'm selling and grazing rights, your USDA, your ag exemption's about to be cut, you need to figure something out. So after a while and sitting there looking at everything, I go, what crop can I do that'll get me the most out of it with such a small, location, a small farm being only 13 acres. So that was when I started looking into the hemp industry. And so after about a year and a half of doing our research and really, really getting into the depths of the laws and how it's being done down here in Texas, and we jumped into it and it's been great. I mean, we've, like anything, you're going to hit the hiccups here and there, but it's been a wild ride for this first year and we're taking off.
So what were you doing before hemp and cannabis stuff?
So before all this, I've been in construction for the last 7 years. Before that, I was in commercial drive lines and PTOs, hydraulic pumps, just sitting there and designing those and manufacturing that. And it's a family business, but it's not the business that I've ever wanted to be in. It was just something that was always there. And it's not that I didn't hate it, but I disliked it.
Right.
So jumping off, and doing this hemp was something that as a entrepreneur, never jumped into. As a consumer, been around it all my life. So it was something that kind of drew myself to it. And so we sat there and got everything together, and we started out just, with a small 160 square foot building, and we just run a very small little tight niche operation right now until we can get through these litigations.
What was prior to that? Had you had any agriculture or farming experience for
Yeah,
plants?
yeah, just, I've got family all through the
Mhm.
Central Texas, Luling,
Yeah,
Lockhart, Seguin areas. So I've always been around the farming industry on that end, livestock as well. And so it's always been there, but I've never been, hired on or
right,
just been, a career into it until now.
right on.
So it's been a fun journey, I can tell you that much, and it's been an experience. And I mean, it's like we said, we got more to come, and this is year one for us.
Year one already winning awards is a true testament, honestly, because you're competing against people who have years on you.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, and I appreciate it. And the guys that we go up against, I mean, these guys, man, I call these guys, I talk to these guys left and right and kind of pick their brain as much as I can. And that's what I love about Texas growers, just our little circle
yeah,
is just, we're all in it for each other.
totally,
Yeah, we're not out to just sit there and monopolize. I mean, we all started from the same spot,
totally,
and expanded to wherever we're at now.
totally.
And it's nice to have that type of support and backup, especially coming in as a novice,
Right.
and doing it. So it's been real nice and real, I would say, a treat to
No, totally,
have that extra support and backup and just everything you
totally.
need to start out.
It's cool to do what you want to do and what you love to do, but it's cooler to do it with other people who have the same passion and drive for it right next to you.
Exactly,
Yeah, and
exactly.
we're seeing that more. It wasn't always like that. 5 years ago, it wasn't always like that. It
Well, I
it
mean, we're all still hiding behind the curtains
yeah.
back then,
It
So,
started to unravel more and more, I think, like, the competitiveness, proved to be inefficient, and I think they're like we always say, if I call Micah or I call Jake down south or Zach up north, everybody's going through that same 10 to 12 weeks over and over again throughout the year, right? And
mhm,
so
mhm.
we're all fighting for the same stuff at the committee hearings, just like we are in the retail, just like we are in our own grows. And so it is powerful to have a community of people who just understand too. Like,
Yeah,
just to be able to pick up the phone and be like, man, I'm pissed off. I'm having this problem and this problem. Even if they don't have a solution, they understand. And when they say, like, I know, they really mean it,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
There's been so many times that I've called and been like, man, I'm doing this and I'm doing this, but I'm not getting the result that I need. What do I need to do
Hmm.
in between here and there? And, just those little tips, from
Yeah.
each grower just kind of will help you out and just,
And there's like a Texan camaraderie, I think, too, that plays into this because in other markets, there's that I guess competitive animosity type of relationship. But here it's really like I want to see these other guys do good. I want to have the best product coming out of Texas, no matter whose roof it necessarily comes under.
well, I kind of look at it like this. It's Texas versus everyone else.
Absolutely.
And as long as we stick together, we've got a big enough piece of the pie to wipe the floor with
I
everybody.
will take 1% of 8 billion and be happy about it, and you won't hear a
Absolutely.
peep from me. Absolutely. You won't hear a peep from me. But I think that was cool about what we saw last week, at the Senate committee hearing was I think it was finally one of those places where, we can go to parties, we can go to events, we can go to all these, the fun things, but the hard nitty-gritty things are oftentimes more important than those fun things. And so to see people show up to the nitty-gritty things that weren't so fun, be on the same team, wear the same jersey, have the same testimonies almost without talking, I think just really proves that there is a huge cohesion to this industry here in Texas. And there is camaraderie between the operators that do it,
Absolutely.
And that's really what I wanted to do with bringing growers on, but also creating this platform for everyone is because there's stories to be told. Like I'm sure that people can see you on camera and hear your voice. They know you're Texan. You know
Oh,
what I
yeah,
mean?
without a
Uh,
doubt.
no doubt. And so I wanted that to be uh, told more. I think there's a lot more noise and confusion than ever around our state, around the industry, around the plant. It's crazy.
Yes.
And so I wanted to battle that. And that's why I like bringing people like you on, because I think there's also an image to what I think maybe lawmakers or Texans think are the actors that are doing this. And that's just not the case. People like to call me kind of like the face of like a face of the industry, but I think it's because I can honestly operate in the grow and speak that language with people that are doing it, but I can also function in my representative's office or in front of the camera or all these different things. And I think that's breaking down a lot, but having you guys come in is going to absolutely dismantle all of that, because the people that are growing hemp in Texas that are doing it right are these guys.
Yeah.
It's not cartels, it's not, the perfect stigma that you think. It's not a grow house operation that's like sketchy with naked women working in it and
Right.
shit.
Yeah.
It's like it's a legit thing, and most of them are family businesses. Most of them are family owned, close knit friends and family that operate these places, and that's a part of it that needs to be highlighted just as much as the fun side or the entertaining side.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree with you on that, because I mean, I've we run into an issue that I run into all the time is the stigma of of this industry,
Mhm.
and then you've also got, I feel like the politicians have this image already teetering ahead, like they're expecting to see this you know goofy, uneducated,
Dazed and confused.
dreadlock,
Yeah.
tree hugging prancer jumping around, not making any sense, when it's people like you and I and
Yeah.
everyone else in this industry that are working hard to do it right and to do it with integrity,
Hmm.
and providing for our communities, and knowing that the more that we expand, the more jobs that we open up for our communities.
Yes.
And that's where I'm at right now is, I'm kind of like, we're looking at, future already
Yeah.
of being similar to like Zach and the
Yeah.
Geiger family up there in, Cap Rock, where it's tight niche. Everyone comes in, I've got daughters,
Mhm.
that I would love to see take on some role in this industry. If it's, from logistics to
Yeah.
marketing and sales, I would love and enjoy to see all the family in that. And that just, it's going to take time.
Absolutely. People always talk about like the fight that we're going through right now, to
Yeah.
keep things going, but man, we expected it. I didn't never expect it to be easy to take this, piece of the pie and run with it. I definitely knew there were going to be not only people in the industry against us and against what we were trying to do, but also the government. And if you look back at every market out there across the U.S. and cannabis history as a whole, it's always a fight. It's always a battle, but when we have good community, it makes it a lot easier to do the hard things and deal with the consequences of different things as well. But you guys got a great brand going into this, especially being on year one. So,
Yeah. I mean, this is what we did with the branding. Yeah. It was a little different.
mhm,
We knew that we couldn't keep up with the mass production and the demand,
right.
because the demand is high down here in Texas,
It's
and
30 million people here.
we're not keeping up.
No,
None of us are. I don't care who you are in this industry.
no.
You know who you are. You can't. None of us can keep up. And so, knowing that I was starting out so small,
Mhm,
I needed to get our brand out there, but wanted a different way of doing it than just going to door to every mom and pop, smoke
mhm,
shop and dispensary within, 150 miles, and keeping up, because I knew every month we do probably about five, maybe we might be able to get 6 pounds out
mhm.
a month as of right now. And we didn't want to jump into it and just go guns blazing. Let's go build a 3,000 square foot facility, and let's put up and dump all this money into it, and then not have anywhere to to get rid of it. So we wanted to start out small, dip our toes into this industry, see how it would run. And so I go, well, we had some guys that we had ran into, and there are some other companies. There's guys down there, QBR,
Mm-hmm.
Jake, you know who those guys
Mm-hmm.
are, Jonathan and those guys. They do the vending machines as well. And so that was kind of the idea that I had, was like, hey, let's take these vending machines. We know we can't provide for every store. Would I love to be able to provide for
For sure.
Naveed over at, every 84 Bahama Mamas in Houston area? Yes, I would love to, but I knew that was
Mm-hmm.
unrealistic. So we started with these vending machines and just putting these places in bars, lounges, just areas that we knew that were going to be cannabis friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And, and it's been a blessing, because it has definitely gotten our name out there. It is definitely something that I get calls from other states that are
Mm-hmm.
going, we don't even do this out here in Cali. I mean, this is something I've never seen before. So it was
Texas, baby.
yeah, it was kind of nice to find out that I've done something somewhat innovative.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, there are a handful of people in the state that do have a few of these vending machines, but we've got 5 now running. We have 11 total in ready to go. And as soon as we get all those out
It's definitely a conversation starter. It's a
it is.
disrupt, you know.
It is.
I've seen cigarettes and vending machines at bars for as long as I can remember, right? This feels like
The
it's
old
only
pull
natural.
the old pull tab
The old pull
ones.
tab ones, yeah. It seems like only natural and cool that you're doing something innovative and you're thinking outside the box, and also cool because Texas with hemp gives us a lot more leeway than this cannabis or marijuana type
Oh,
programs that people have in different states. And whether you completely agree with it or not, we're learning some people have different viewpoints than others. But at the end of the day, hemp has the ability to be versatile like that and be sold in those different styles, like vending machines, retailers,
absolutely.
anything that's licensed and behind, basically an ID check, even though it's not necessarily required, which is something we're working on. But it's badass. And like to take your brand even in year one and realize, hey, I'm small batch, I'm a craft, but I can do something that's a differentiator is really powerful to the way you think about things. And I just wanted to obviously give you kudos for that
Oh,
because
appreciate it.
but I mean also you take good care outside of your own products, you take good care of whose products you put into those machines, right? And who you work with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. At first, starting out, you don't know, you don't have all the contacts for,
Right.
product and stuff. And so, yeah, we were running some, a couple of Cali products out of there as well.
Yep.
Things that, the state was not allowing us to manufacture,
Mhm.
pre-rolls,
Uh-huh.
um, edibles and stuff. We weren't there at that time yet. So, uh, yeah, it was, we, I'm very meticulous about what product I do put in those machines, because if I don't like it, or I know that, then I know my customers are not going to like
Mhm.
it. And, and the thing is here in Texas, you've got a lot of people that are actually consumers that are actually in, intelligent and know what they're talking about in
Yeah,
this industry. They know what they're looking for.
totally.
And so we we've we've sat there now, and what I've done is I'm taking different areas. Let's say I've got one location that they're not big on smoking or flower.
Mhm.
For instance, I have one that they've got the police department right across the street. And so, to avoid any issues with
Right.
not only the owner of the location, but the patrons,
Mhm.
is I went ahead and we would just keep vapes and edibles in that machine. Vapes and edibles go in that machine, because then the consumer doesn't have to worry about, that it keeps, that's the type of clientele
Yep.
that they don't want a bunch of smokers around. and
Totally.
and so this is another alternative for those people who still use hemp and cannabis products, to be able to use it in a public setting
Right.
without being, just a little too, I would say, interfering, or let's say,
Totally.
you know what
Well,
I mean?
I love that you take that into account, because I think a lot of what I heard, even from testimonies and stuff over the last few months, is that a lot of us legit operators, we're not trying to be flagrant and disrespectful. You know what I mean? So, like, making a decision as the purveyor of a service, or the vending
Mhm.
machine, to say like, hey, I think obviously, between what I'm hearing from the bar and the establishment plus your location, maybe we leave quote unquote smokables out of this for the time being, just as a respect thing for the area and for your
Abs-
consumers and for your bar. I think that needs to be highlighted too. We're not all out here selling to kids after high school in the car rider line. We have morals and rules to the way that we'll do business, whether the government explicitly makes us operate like that or not. There is obviously some sort of moral compass here that we all follow and that we can implement into those certain situations, I
well,
think, to help retailers.
if you're any what civilized,
Right.
you will kind of think about those things
Yeah.
going into this. Um, yeah, it's my biggest thing is, yes, we don't have to put 21 and up, but it's mandatory on my machines.
Yeah.
My machines carry a age verification on them.
Mm.
Now, I don't have to implement them in the locations that I have as of right now, but if we do have locations where these going up, where they're younger kids, where they do benefits or,
Totally.
events and stuff like that, where there's going to be underage kids, I want to make sure that no kid can ever go up to that machine and take their mom's credit card or an
Mhm.
ID and try and scan it, because these things do a biometric scan of you in front of you.
Mhm.
So it identifies you as the license that has just been scanned. So it kind of eliminates that, which has been blessing.
Shouldn't we have that at more
But
retailers? A biometric scan, thumbprint, retina scan, ID check, fill out a form.
well,
That's what
last time I
apparently that's what
checked,
they want.
run it like a bar.
Yeah, no shit.
It's 21 and up. You can walk into an establishment to have a drink. Why can't, and the bartender has to verify ID.
Well,
You've already adjusted the laws for TABC
mhm.
just for this hemp industry. You've got hemp drinks now. You've got,
Yeah,
all kinds of
even nicotine
derived,
is 21 now, yeah.
So why not? We have no issue. I know me as a grower and retailer and stuff, I would prefer it being 21 and up. And the regulations, I'm not against, I don't want to be within 1,000 square feet of a school.
No.
I don't want my packaging to be anything that would be enticing to a child.
I don't want to be within 1,000 feet of fucking anybody.
Yeah.
Especially with doing this. People have so many misconceptions about what it is, and you got a bunch of plants and cash and all this other shit, and it's not true.
But then to hear your politicians who you vote for, where your taxpayer money actually pays for their salary, and so on and so forth, sit there and say that 18, 19-year-old and 20-year-olds, you can go to war and you can serve this country. But by God, you better get your parents' parental consent to use CBD products.
Yep. Buy a gummy.
That's where you sit there and you go, guys, this is ass backwards. Let's get down to the brass tack. Let's cut the BS. This is garbage. You know it.
We're trying to cut through for sure to find what sort of mysterious forces are at work there for this. It's hard to find. I think it's a little bit embarrassment on politicians' parts, a little bit abolitionist behavior shining through, and agendas being pushed, I think, is the reason why we're seeing a lot of this.
It's flat out arrogance.
Yeah, I think that was very clear from the hearing the other day.
And we all know that there's fraud.
Oh yeah.
And not on just federal, but on state.
And there's bad actors everywhere.
Absolutely.
And that's something I think all of us, that's why I say, like, all of our testimonies were kind of in line without talking to each other, because we all, like you said, if you have any moral compass at all, you obviously don't want to sell to underage kids. You don't want to be within a radius of a school or a church or like any of this crap that it's just being respectful. It's not even that the law is or the regulations are forcing this. It's just respect and
No.
safety. And so to hear people say those things of like, we need enforcement. There are bad actors out there. There's retailers that get shit from China and Pakistan and they sell it to whoever. And those people are not IDing for tobacco or alcohol or THC vapes, just letting you know. And I think that is one of the biggest problems that we're facing is just that there's just no interest in enforcing things on the bad actors. There's just only interest in grouping us all together as criminals and banning this whole thing and giving it to 1 or 3 people, which is crazy.
I feel like our state politicians are now finally realizing how big this industry has gotten and so fast. When you've got 9,000 businesses up and running, operating, you've got, almost 100,000, people employed in this industry.
Oh, absolutely.
Just in Texas alone. I don't think that they were expecting it to be scaled that fast, that soon.
No.
And, I mean, it's not just from us locals. That is from all the people running from out of state to get here.
And we bring up the point of, why doesn't the Texas medical marijuana operators just get into hemp? If they're having such a hard time being profitable, making money, having patients, what is stopping them from saving that $500,000 a year for their license and getting into hemp with the low barrier to entry, right? And the most interesting thing is that we all signed up to do something that was federally legal so that we could bank correctly, so that we could operate in Texas correctly, we could ship our stuff out of state if we needed to make more money. We were doing the exact thing that they set up this program to do. Like you just said earlier, I want a cash crop that I can put in this small square footage and make the most per square foot that I can make out of this.
Absolutely.
And that was hemp. And the way forward was that Trojan horse or that, different conversation of hemp was the way to get us there. And so it's crazy that we all get this derogatory treatment when really we like the medical marijuana, that's federally illegal. That's a federally illegal substance that you're trying to promote here, while all of us are literally just making federally legal hemp products from something that's been around for 6 years. The TCAP program's been around since 2017.
Yeah.
So why, what has taken why do these guys keep sinking money into a program that doesn't work and getting venture capitalist bailouts when the hemp program has been open to them for 6 years?
And you and I both know the answer to that. So, I mean,
we all know how important harvesting is and how hard you work to get there. So don't settle for less than 454 bags. 454 Bags provides post-harvest products like oversized tote liners, trellis netting, turkey bags, and the all-new BioCure bags to help growers optimize their yields and preserve quality. 454 is releasing a superior bag for less than half the price of other brands. Also, these guys cover sales tax to keep costs low and fair. So when you order from 454 Bags, you're not just getting high quality bags, you're getting a reliable service designed to make your life easier. So don't settle when it comes to preserving your hard work. Choose 454 Bags and you'll see why all the biggest names in cannabis trust their stuff. If you visit 454bags.com today and you use the code ColtonLuther420, you can get 10% off of your entire order forever. You can get subscriptions and you can use my code to get that 10% off every single time, not just on your first order. So check out 454 Bags. We use them in the grow currently. We swear by them and they're the next best thing for post-harvest cannabis material. Yeah, it's crazy. And it's just something that I think it shows the importance of a platform like this because we now have a voice. So you say like it's scaled so rapidly. I always wanted us to get to 2 places. The first destination is too big to ignore.
Right.
The second destination is too big to fail, right? And so I think we are approaching that too big to ignore scenario, especially with how they keep poking the bear, so to speak, if with this industry, right? And I think this too big to ignore horizon is approaching, which will effectively, judging off what I've seen and heard of this session, will eventually, I think, lead us to the too big to fail. Because I think Texas can prove to be the dominant force in global hemp supply, from cannabinoid to fiber, industrial processing, fucking everything. I mean, we could be the absolute example. But we can't necessarily do that. And this was funny. Senator Charles Perry said in the testimony, he said, the funniest thing is that all these businesses here will tell you that without the psychoactive THC, they can't be profitable. So the gig is up. The gig is up. Like what? Us having a legitimate legal business that people like and products that are federally legal that people want to buy and spend their own hard-earned money on over TCUP program. The gig is up, and you're proud of that you're shutting down 8,000 plus operating businesses, costing the state $760+ million of unemployment for smoke shop workers.
Yeah.
Like, the gig is up. What do you mean? I mean, I'm glad that it's funny. They're celebrating almost the death of an entire federally legal industry to prop up people who are failing in something that's federally illegal. And it, to me, just proves that there must be some sort of advantage to hemp that needs to be killed by people like TrueLeave, like MSOs, the alcohol lobbyists. All these people want this thing dead. And to me, if we've learned anything over the last at least decade, when the government's here to help, there's going to be some fucking problems, dude. And there's always a dark force at work for why they want to ban something, especially when it comes to your health or your freedoms or something like that. And it's crazy what we're going through here in Texas.
Well, I mean, how can you monopolize an industry if you've got a hemp industry that's completely destroying yours?
It's pretty tough. And then you're only going to open up 3 more additional licenses to try to let this thing expand. Let's cut
the BS out. All right. You're going to give them satellite locations now. You're going to let them do vapes, but not pre-rolls. But yet you're still not going to, you're not upping any of your levels whatsoever on your testing. So what is it? Yeah.
So what is it?
Well, what is the actual common denominator why you want this industry shut down? Well,
we're not the first state to go through this, though. Yeah. That's the craziest part. There's a war on hemp that is nationwide. So, but why? This is a question I also wanted to bring. Why Texas, though? Because we say this a lot. There's other places to make money. There's other places to do this that are quote unquote more lenient or more accepting of this and have better situations. But what keeps Micah and CannaRepublic in Texas and doing it for the Texans? What is that for you?
Well, not only just Texas pride, but 46 years of my life has been here. I ain't going anywhere. I mean, there's no reason for me to. If we wanted to, and everybody knows this, even our own government knows this, if we wanted to, we could be our own country. We have the 9th largest economy in the world. We have more money. And this is why I also feel that we get a lot of pushback in this industry. It's because we don't need the money.
It's true.
We don't need it. We've got more money than Russia has in our own reserves.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that.
Our reps, they hear $8 billion. They're like,
Yeah. Yeah. It's like,
okay. That's one oil deal.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not that Texas doesn't need the money, but I feel that Texas could take over this industry.
Totally.
Now, granted, you want to get into, we get down to the aspects of growing and everything like that. Yeah, climate is a huge, huge thing, and we don't have it down here. Every one of us from the southern tip to the northern tip will tell you this climate. I mean, today
40 degrees in the morning. It'll be 80 degrees before we're done with the sun today.
Amen.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And humidity is going to go from 100 to 80%.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not always the ideal, climate to grow in, but we've got a thing down here, and we've got a good thing going.
And I don't want to leave it. That's my thing. Yeah. I'll die on the hill, and I think it's also a part of the history. This is like a broken record thing for me, but the Alamo, the story of the Alamo, like the consensus for the Alamo is you take an ass whooping for so long until you don't.
Yeah.
And then you go get revenge. And just being able to endure that. I mean, I think we're in that right now, not that, not comparing this to the fight of the Alamo, but it's a fight in and of itself where, we had to sit there and take our lashings at a testimony. We have to get these smear campaigns and these Texas Monthly articles and NPR articles that just smear the industry basically by the hand of one politician. But, there comes a point until we are band together and we fight back. We're ready to die on this hill. We've put all of our life and money and time into building something of value that is legitimate. And so when people try to attack that and bring it down, it stirs up a passion in people where, they we're going to go to the end of this earth to fight this. And I know, and for us, we want to do this for Texans. I don't want Texans to have to use products from other states, let alone another country or some other sketchy market, or go meet a drug dealer in a parking lot that's weighing out your weed with fentanyl and cocaine and everything else and mixing up things and all that stuff. There's a lot of dangers to that. And so I think for me, why Texas too is just because every day, and I know you probably hear this too with your products, every day we're hearing from people that are telling us how we're changing their life and how we're impacting their life in a positive way, and how without our products or certain cannabinoids and access to us as people and growers and experts, their life would be completely different, maybe even not be there, right? And so that's powerful to me. That keeps me here and fighting is because I'm a sixth generation Texan, and then I don't want to leave, and I don't want my people here, my peers, my Texans, to have to use sketchy products or send their money elsewhere. I would love to support local business. That's why I like the whole
Oh,
Texas, the Texas mantra of we're all a community here, because we're all going to have different cycles. Some people are going to choose different brands or packaging or flour or whatever over each other, but to me, all of that staying in Texas is more important than all of it staying with me or my brand, you know?
yeah.
And that's something I think is powerful. And I can see that it remains true by highlighting people like yourself and other growers, is that down to their core, most people are here because, yeah, they love the plant. Yeah, they love helping people, but really they love Texas. And we just don't want Texas to change that much. And we don't want Texas to have to be like California or these other places where we have this botched system of cannabinoid regulation that still is affecting people negatively rather than positively.
Yeah, and that kind of brings me back to when I was talking about, when starting out with these machines and everything, and the clientele that we've got, these are blue collar workers. I've
Right.
got a lot of executives and upper class, upper people, but we take care of a lot of the firefighters.
Mhm.
Firefighters buy from us. I mean, just because it takes care of it helps with their PTSD. It's all a little bit more convenient. We all know it's convenient than
Yeah.
having to go down to the to get the cup. They have to go to one location.
Mhm.
And, it's absolutely unreasonably priced for the product they're getting. And so that was one issue that we all, we dealt with. But I've always wanted, we started out with some Cali products,
Mhm.
but my thing is always to be, and like y'all know, I want Texas products
Totally.
in this. And so with the consumer, I've noticed that I've got to break them in slowly because they've got that whole mentality. Oh, it's Cali. Oh, it's
Mhm.
good. It's Cali, Colorado, New Mexico. Oh yeah,
Mhm.
it's the real stuff. Texas is producing just as good as product as
Totally.
any of these others. And and just trying to break them in, wean them off of this whole stigma of like, got to get it from, Cali because
Right.
that's where it's going to work. They've got it down. No,
No.
we've got it. And I've noticed it just yesterday. I stopped out before I left, made sure, one of our machines was filled up, ready to
Mhm.
go for the weekend and stuff in the week. Um, and I had customers coming up to me, hey man, these new edibles that you've put in here, um, really liking these, man, blah, 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 where are they from? I go, this is a Texas based company. We put some Hayes Connect in the
Yep.
machine. So,
Love those guys.
yeah, Hayes has got some product in there. So just, just little by little
Yep.
working these people and weaning these people off of the out of state products that they keep buying. And that's my thing is I only want Texas product in my machines because I know we are capable of producing world-renowned product.
Absolutely.
I know everybody else can. Look, yes, we can all thank Colorado, California, and everything for, paving the way. But all right, there's a big old Mack truck right behind y'all that's going to come through. It's about to blaze through. All right, and we're doing it.
We're doing it. We have some of the best talent here. I really believe it. I
Absolutely.
believe people who have been in other markets too have fled because of what Texas offers you, whether you're in cannabis or not. I mean, people are moving here in troves because of what the state offers you as far as just living, economics, social. There's a lot of benefits. And so, yeah, like I always said too, with like edibles, right? People have this whole conception of, or misconception of like how edibles have to come from California or they're not good or this is fake
Yes.
weed or this is synthesized. Oh my God, the synthetic word. I just want to I want to die when I hear that because it is true. A lot of the hemp derived cannabinoids that go out there in the market are synthesized. A lot of what my companies do, and probably similar to Micah, is we focus on the natural occurring cannabinoids, the cannabinoids that are the same in cannabis and marijuana and hemp, the main cannabinoids that do the most for you, that have the most research and the most experience. And so I've gone through times where, we put edibles or other products on a shelf next to the Cali things and we get smoked because people just have that
it's just
preconceived notion.
Yes.
And I always say, well, what are we doing to handle that and educate? And is it social? Is it events in person at the retailers? Is it holding events for just the staff to understand and letting them try the products and realize like, hey, this is not fake weed or not, synthesized or not something that is inferior just because it's from Texas? Or hey, maybe you need to explain and have a sales pitch because this local product is going to cost $5 to $10 more than an imported Cali product at a large MOQ that can get you down to pennies on the dollar. And there's a lot of like expectation management that has had to happen. And it has honestly come from, I think, operators and sometimes retailers, but mainly the brand owners and the operators. But I feel like there was a disconnect in like, why did we have to do that? Why do they just shit talk us? And why do people think that this is fake weed or this doesn't work or that this is not the right? We're battling all of those misconceptions, the noise. I mean, people can get on their phone and Google like, well, does CBD do anything? Well, you might get 5 different answers,
Right.
and it really depends on you. It depends on who you are. And you have to try different things out and have access to experts and ask those questions. But handling the expectation of consumers and educating them and winning them over from the Cali and Colorado products and the import stuff is really where I think not only do you make sales and uplift other Texas brands, but the amount of trust and credibility that now Micah or CannaRepublic is getting is insane. And now those people don't have access to Koi CBD. They can't hit up a large conglomerate directly to the owner or an operator or someone who makes a difference in that company and say things, give feedback, ask vulnerable questions that might seem stupid. There's no stupid questions, only stupid people asking questions, right?
God.
But that is something that's very important, and it just ties back into why I bring you on this platform and why I really love when we can have interactions and I can get you on social and stuff, is because I want more faces like you and more people like you to be the head of the education, the brand awareness, the credibility in this industry, especially for Texas, because that's going to have such a big impact down the line. Small batch craft, I think, will win always.
Yeah.
And even if you don't win as far as like a big national scale, if you got 2,000-3,000 people that spend $50 a month with you, you're not hurting, you're not crying. You know what I mean? And like that's where I think aiming small and missing small here in Texas can have small brands, no offense, but can actually dominate, can grow and become the undisputed provider of different products and cannabinoids, and that trust can't be beat, honestly.
Well, I look at it like this. So, okay, let's say, for instance, Jeters, baby Jeters.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows them.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loves them. It's hard to compete with those guys.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got to you've got to wean them away from that and to let them understand that we are producing the exact same as what these guys are doing. These craft growers, who's saying it's 710 Labs in California, one of the best. We all know this, but compare them to Cookies, $100 million company over here, but yet you've got a small batch. I would consider 710. They're probably larger, but
small batch at scale.
At scale, they're probably considered small batch, and will wipe the floor out of anybody, of any of their product. I mean, their products are top notch, and it's just like that little example. Not only that, the craft can still win without being just pushed around by all these big corporations and these big genetic companies, big growers and stuff like that. So
I think when you have people that care about this stuff, where they truly care what goes in their body and where it comes from, after a point, the brand and the hype is not as important.
Yes.
And the small batch expert that was on my plants, on the hash, on the oil, on the product, on the gummy machine, paying attention to the detail and having that steady chain of custody, I think is also something that's super important, and it makes people trust you more and stay away from blindly buying a Cali vape or something that's on the shelf of a gas station.
Real connoisseurs in this industry want quality, over quantity, no matter what. And everybody in this industry will state they want quality over quantity.
Totally.
We all know this. And when you scale up and get into those larger scalability, you're going to lose. Quality is going to fall, fall. So, just sticking with quality, I feel, is going to be the win of it all compared to,
common sense. That seems common sense to me.
These people that I sell to, my clients, they know what they want. Yeah. They know what they're looking for. They know exactly brands. They know what they're putting in their body. Yep. And they don't want anything else.
Totally.
And I don't blame them. So,
and people are becoming more educated.
They are.
I think there's more connoisseurs evolving too, out of like, oh, I used to just smoke this Delta 8 vape, but now I don't, and I use these products instead, right? I think there's more of that as we go, and as more operators create good product and give education and exposure. It's coming, I think we're all coming around. It's been 6 years now.
Yeah, it's the education of the consumer. You don't know how many times I got people sitting there going, well, what happened to those THC gummies? You got these D9 gummies in there now. I about wanted to take the table and just, are you kidding me, people? Stop.
Yeah, it's just something that I think will
go away in time. It's going to take time.
Yeah.
And if as long as we're patient with their customers and their client, we'll be all right.
Totally agree.
But yeah, it's exciting. We'll see what happens with these bills.
Yeah.
And because I know that's probably what's holding back a lot of people right now.
Oh, absolutely.
I know for us scaling, I'm not doing anything until I see.
Totally. And we were actually, when SB3 was filed, I guess I could say I am, but they've paused. I was in talks with banks on funding for not only building out more of our Austin facility, but maybe an additional satellite location to just be able to cultivate more, process more, and distribute more of our product. Because there's definitely a capacity that we've hit for the last few years that without raising money and expanding, we won't be able to get to that demand that's already there. I mean, I have people that could write us a letter of intent that says, hey, I'll buy X amount of thousands of dollars of product every month if you have it.
Correct.
And I compiled all those things, but now the real estate people, the banking people are like, what's this SB3 that's going on? You guys going to be banned? Are they going to ban hemp or whatever? And what I always tell people is this, we are an agriculture company. So we are going to do agriculture no matter what with your $3 million that you lend me, so whether this goes one way or another, there's still things that we can do. There's still ways that we can profit by owning the dirt underneath us. There's a lot of things that kind of allow us for a bigger escape plan too, if we needed it. And that's where we're trying to get to is just that's our too big to fail situation going on right there. It's like they can't ignore us now, but we need that expansion to get just a little bigger to really like dig our teeth into the true Texas market. Cause right now, a lot of what we do is just isolated. It's Houston or it's Austin. It's not the state,
No.
and that those people are already asking questions and kind of, I wouldn't say they've officially pulled back out of anything, but they definitely had more, intrigue into like what was going on and asked if we had obviously had contingency plans for that. And so, we are in the same boat. We can't really do anything major until we get through this, which is unfortunate because it's just money missed that, that we're just letting go. And
I mean, I keep telling, everyone like, they're like, what about this bill? And I go, well, look, what's this bill? I go, it'll determine everything. I go to determine if I'm going to, Zach, I'm coming after you. It could be the largest indoor growing facility in the state of Texas, which we could be because we have the space to do it.
Yep.
And knowing, how large we could get to, I mean, the sky's the limit, but until this, and like you said, the banks, and we all deal with the banks, they are it's almost like their second worst enemy right now.
Yep.
I mean, is just dealing with those guys and funding. And, with me, it's payment processing companies.
Yep.
Just night and day.
Always a nightmare.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So,
they get you in, we've had a thing where we were in 12-month agreement and then they hit us up and back in November and go, hey, we're shutting down any kind of hemp derived products or CBD products in these machines, through our processing. Bank told us, shut us down. So, you got to go through the hoops. You got to get through the hiccups. But in the long run, I think once this bill is passed, is not passed, everything's cleared, and we're good to go. I think the banks are going to start opening up and being a little bit more, I wouldn't say foregoing.
Yeah.
But I think they'd start piquing their interest a little bit more because there's a lot of banks that we've walked into when starting out, last year, and they were like, as soon as I say, they're like, oh, you're doing cannabis or hemp? No, we don't do it. Out the door.
See, that's funny because I had opposites. I went and found processors and I was like, let me convince you that you should be doing this and that it's legal and that you can make money on processing off of legal things that otherwise you would be in handcuffs, right? Because like you can't process federally illegal money, right? But you could process federally legal money, can't you? You tracking what I'm saying? And they were like, well, yeah, I guess so. And I showed them tests and I showed them the laws and I showed them like links. I literally sent our processor links, and this went on for weeks, right? Of like, this is the way we're going to do things. This is the test. This is the law. This is the regulations we go through. And here's everything I'm going to show you to make you feel comfortable. And then cherry on top was that we already banked with Bank of America. So it's like, we already have this big federal bank taking our money because we're an agriculture company. We're through and through we're gonna do raw material, rendered services. We're an ag company, right? Get me a grant from the USDA if I want.
Yeah.
Tax exemptions. And that is what got us through, but it didn't happen overnight. And it came after Square locking up tens of thousands of dollars, and then you go to the next one, and then they hold you for 12 months and then say, hey, we're changing our policies, or we don't. Our compliance team doesn't like what they see, and then that costs time and money no matter what to switch processors. Is a fucking nightmare. And
you want to talk about a nightmare? Shut you down for 3 weeks with no credit card revenue coming in. Absolute nightmare.
And then you got retailers like Bahama Mama and some of ours from Austin. They have an Amex. Like they order their stuff off American Express. So how the fuck am I supposed to, like, this guy's got to go get cash or write a check, and then I got to report that, and we got to keep, like, it's a nightmare for everybody, to not have these different things. And that's also a part of this platform, is just exposing people. If there's a credit card processor or anybody in that space, reach out to us, get in our network and offer something of value. Don't come in here with your fucking large fees and, the same offering that everyone else has, only to run with us for 6 to 12 months. If you are actually interested in doing something legal, processing credit cards, definitely hit us up at the Texas Growers Podcast. We have plenty of people in need of services, but also exposure to other things beyond credit card processing, because I know you plan to scale a facility. I know I sure plan to scale a facility here in 2025, maybe 2026, and shout out to Grow World for making this connection too. But there's a lot of equipment suppliers now that are watching my show, watching this market, and trying to get into this network. And so Micah is one of the folks that you need to make sure you keep in contact with and follow online and watch their journey, because in year one, this guy's knocking down some of the best doing it, winning awards over others, getting into the culture and the community and competing and becoming an asset and someone who we really enjoy. And so he's definitely one to watch, as well as the other growers we're going to have on here. If you are anything from post-harvest, like bags, 454 bags, shout out to you guys for helping us down here in Texas, lighting companies, nutrient companies, anything and everything that goes from seed to sale. We would love to get you involved in the Texas Growers Podcast, get you down here to Texas to show you what this market is truly all about. Because right now, again, we're too big to ignore. You can't ignore us any longer, and you can't shit talk us and look down on us. We are a serious force. This is the last cannabis frontier, and people here are true Texans, and they're fighting hard. And so we would love to have the attention and knowledge and resource of some of these equipment supply companies. So don't be afraid to make a comment, reach out to me on Grow World, reach out to me on YouTube, Instagram, whatever have you. If you'd like some introductions to some of these top performing growers here operating in Texas. So what's next for CannaRepublic though, dude? Tell me what's next on the horizon. I know we're fighting some legislation and all that bullshit, but this too shall pass.
Just fighting legislation. The next thing that we're looking into, obviously, is scaling, getting out to that farm.
Yeah.
Getting these, we've got 11 machines now. So we've got, 6 more machines that just came in that hold 150 products instead of 100. So those are going to be up and around the Houston and actually some of the Austin area. I believe that we'll be putting one out at Fat Ass Winery.
Ooh. Yeah. Love that.
Yeah. Shout out to Krista and Paul, those guys there. And, definitely shout out to Pollinate, because Pollinate Processing Company is definitely came through on the last leg there.
We'll have to check them out.
Those guys, they're small company, small base.
Love that.
But they deal with this industry, and they're not out to just gouge us.
Yeah.
Like majority of these companies, and anything in this industry does.
Yeah.
I mean, we do get hit with quite a bit.
Totally. The green tax.
Yes.
The green tax.
Yes, the green tax.
Average credit card processor is like 1 to 2%. Most credit card processors for high risk is like, they do this 4.20%. It's fucking almost double. It's crazy.
NIAX was at 3.5.
Jeez, 3.5.
Plus 10 cents for every transaction. Now, and Pollinate is smaller than that. They're at, two and something.
Yeah.
So
because we're dealing with farmers here. We're dealing with small businesses. Okay.
So that little 0.5%, it makes a huge difference to us.
Dude, it goes so far.
Yeah.
But where can people find you too? CannaRepublic. I want to give the
CannaRepublicTX.com, the website, Instagram. You can find any of our vending machines are going to be in Houston area, or as of right now, in Montgomery County. So, Nowhere Lounge, you've got Rusty Nail.
Yep.
You've got the Crazy Girl Saloon. You've got Shamrocks Pub and Grill, 1886 Backyard, and more to come.
All the hangouts.
Yeah, that's it. Just some good hangouts, some good spots. Hopefully, we'll
where do we find Micah when you're not in the grow and partying with all of us cannabis operators?
You usually find me at the house.
That was so exciting. I'm glad I asked that question. So exciting.
Yeah, you can find me at the house. This is where you find me.
Behaving on his best behavior, I'm
I
sure.
wouldn't say behaving, but staying out of trouble.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think we also share representation. I believe we both are represented by
McCall, right?
McCall, Colkhurst,
Yep.
Senator Colkhurst. So Lois, if you're watching this, please be kind to us in the Senate. Jeez. You're looking at two people on this episode who are in your district. They're your constituents, and SB3 is basically threatening our entire livelihood. So even though you have your own agendas, please just remember the ones who you do represent are vastly invested in this, and we would really love some support and at least some common sense and reason within the Senate on these bills.
Man, we both could bring a lot of revenue to that Grimes County area, and we are willing to do it.
Absolutely. And as someone who's on the chair for Health and Human Services, there totally is bad actors out there. There's totally enforcement that needs to be done. There's a ton of things that we can all work together on without a ban or, regressing back to the 1940s, which is what we saw in our last appearance at the Capitol there.
I mean, how can you sit there as a senator and not think that that's not regression when you have major metropolitan cities are decriminalizing, but yet now this bill, you're talking about putting people back in jail. It's like, our jails were too full with marijuana charges and possession charges, but yet
we want to make more.
We're going to sit there and we're going to make it felonies now.
Yes.
It's like, why are we going backwards?
And with Texas, we have so many other problems to worry about. I think there's so many other things that take priority for all of us. And even us conservative leaning folks, like there are way more important things than THC. Most people think it's decriminalized or legalized like virtually everywhere now, so
it's funny. I sit there, I'm from a conservative, predominant family, and then every single one, even all the way up to lieutenants of their own DPS who believe it should not be legal. I mean, it should be legal. It should not be a crime. This is not what they're after.
No,
it's the fentanyl, the alcohol. I mean, we've got more people that kill people with DWIs than anywhere else.
Absolutely.
And yet nobody, I mean, we're regulating that, but how, to what? To what extent?
I definitely want all the soccer moms to have to be pulled over and searched on the side of the road because they had fucking CBD gummies or a roll-on in their cup holder. Like, it's ridiculous. And that's what a lot of the legislation right now is doing. It is not anything to help regulate or adjust a market or anything. Is a straight up ban, and it is creating criminals. There is no other way around that if you read it, and it's absolutely crazy. So
it's exactly what you think it is.
It's exactly what you think it is.
We're not dumb.
No,
we're not dumb, people.
No, I think they thought we were lazy too. I think people think we're not going to show up. We definitely are. Joke's on y'all. We have nothing fucking better to do, actually. As you can tell, Micah's just going to be at home if he's not doing something for the industry.
What, you think I'm just going to sit here and not go down without a fight? You lost your mind. I've been looking for a fight.
I don't know if you guys can tell, but I wouldn't fucking challenge Micah to a fight. That's all I would say.
I don't miss meals.
No, he doesn't miss meals. You don't want one of those paws to catch you across the chin. Good night. But yeah, dude, thank you for being here. Seriously, telling your story and putting your face out there helps a lot too, because a lot of this industry does come from the shadows or from stigma and everything. So it's great that other operators and people that are doing it legit and fighting for Texas want to get out here.
Yeah, and I encourage, new growers and new people coming into this industry. I've got I have no problem helping anybody out in the questions or anything like that. I mean, I'm still new, I'm just year one. I mean, that's no time at all into this industry. And I'm not going anywhere.
Strapped in for the long haul.
Yeah. I'm not going anywhere. So, I mean, knowing that I can do this, I'm no Rhodes Scholar, so, I am educated, but I'm no Rhodes Scholar. And so, I mean, anybody with, some drive and dedication, somebody sit down and get into get dirty with it can thrive from this
100%.
industry.
100%.
And so
we say it all the time. We'll share any knowledge and information with you.
Yeah.
It still takes 12 weeks of hard work to fucking do it and see where
most people would consider me a home grower, and not even a boutique or a craft grower, but so yeah, I mean, anybody can do this industry. You just
totally,
you got to have the drive. You got to have
you got to love it.
Yeah. You got to love it.
You don't take these lashings and keep going without loving this shit. Having
and I usually don't take lashings too well. So, and I've been taking my licks this year. So
absolutely. Well, guys, check out Canna Republic. Support a small and up and coming local Texas business that's doing it right with good people, with family values, Texas values. Buy your stuff from a guy like Micah who's paying attention to the details, the little details that matter, and truly wants to take care of you and put something of quality into your hands for your money, and not just take your money and run. And so that's something that is very important to him, as well as a lot of other operators and growers that you'll see on this show. Now, if you are a commercial operator out there, if you're a grower at any stage of the industry, we need you to sign up for Grow World, man. We have a community of over 1,200 active users across Grow World that are sharing knowledge, getting exposure to different supply companies, and absolutely crushing it in this industry by scaling their operation without having to beat the learning curve on their own. They're leaning into a platform that is doing that for them. So get on Grow World. It's absolutely free. If you'd like to try any of the brands on there, you can apply for 3 free trials every single month and try things in your grow for absolutely no cost to you. So I don't know about you, but I'm a grower and I'm a farmer, and that no cost shit works. If I can put my hands on something and see the results with no investment, I am not shopping for any other company. I would marry that company if I had to. So it definitely goes a long way for you to see results of things in your grow. And you also get access to an unbelievably valuable community of growers from all over the world, not just the best markets in the US, but all over the world. So make sure you guys go check out Grow World, give them some love on social media and on YouTube, and stay up to date with everything that they are doing. If you like what you see today, please subscribe to the Texas Growers Podcast. This is not upheld by my pocketbook or ad sponsors. This is upheld by everyone who's bought in and engages with our content, comes back every single week to get more and more information and more insight on the Texas cannabis market. So please go and subscribe. Leave a comment. If you want to comment about Micah's appearance here, please go talk shit to him in the comments. We love to laugh and we love to bring it on. We love to get the engagement with you guys. Seriously, that goes so far. And again, this has been another episode with a real Texas grower on the Texas Growers Podcast, and we will see you guys on the next one.